The fundamental movement of spine is flexion and extension. And so we talked about it in the intro video. When that capsular tissue is restricted, you don't get the same access day after day after day. And the less of that flexion extension you access, the less you're going to have the next day. Your body's constantly stealing that space back from you. And so this is something that you can do daily and probably should do daily to continue to restore access to that space. Kind of telling your body every day, hey, I still need this. So we're going to go through a couple reps together, and this is something, again, you can practice all the time, right? So we're going to start on our hands and knees, our hands and wrists directly under our shoulders, and our knees directly under our hips, not splayed wide. Try to keep them as close to hip width as you possibly can. If you're dealing with wrist issues, yoga blocks and fingertips off the edge of the block. So that fingertips off the edge of the block is going to take a ton of pressure off of your wrists. All right? So, as we talked about, this is flexion and this is extension, right? Head happens last. So in extension, the top of my head is pointed at the ceiling, the top of my tailbone is pointed at the ceiling, and everything in between from the back of my head down is extended, right? And belly button's kind of going down towards the floor. And in flexion, it's the opposite. We're pulling everything away from the floor and we're tilting your spine the other direction. With this, I'm pushing the ground away and I'm not letting my shoulder blades go up or down. I'm kind of keeping them right in position. Most common compensations are things like this. And you may or may not have done cat-cows before, but we're not trying to twerk here, and we're not in yoga class. We're not just looking for one extreme and the other. We're looking for every segment to move one at a time. So what that's going to look like is this. This is flexion, starting with the tailbone, spilling that extension all the way through our spine, and I'm continuing to push the ground away. Then from extension to flexion, I'm tucking my chin, I'm pushing the ground away, and I'm rounding my spine little by little all the way through until I land in flexion again, right? Now let's go through 4 reps together. I'm going to coach you through each rep. I'm going to see if my microphone stays right there. Okay, so we're going to start in flexion. So round, push your upper back towards the ceiling. We're going to start at our tailbone, all right? Tailbone goes first, slowly spilling into your lower back, slowly into your upper back, pulling away, then tucking chin, pressing the upper back away from the ground, spilling through that spine. You should find nice little stretches all the way through. Tailbone goes first. And you can do it the opposite way. I just find this to be the most consistent from client to client. When you try to go the other way, it usually feels really weird. So once you've mastered this, then you can go through to the other one. And of course, pain-free range of motion. So if your flexion looks like this, and that's as far as you can go without pain, great. And if your extension looks like this, and that's as far as you can go without pain, totally fine. Little by little, things will get. I know that seems simple, but this is the fundamental movement of your spine. Flexion and extension from tailbone to head. You should be able to flex and extend each segment one at a time. Honestly, when you first start doing it, it's probably going to look like 3 planks of wood with little hinges in between, where it's just like, and you might find that you can't move segments of your spine, and you might find others are really easy. Most often when I introduce this to a client, it feels very hard at first, but once they start practicing it, it usually becomes one of their favorite movements. All right? See you in the next one.